Okay, so this is video 2. This one is another film review, and it's about Yesterday, which is a film based kind of around the Beatles, well, more about them not existing. So this film is about a guy called Jack Malik, and he is a songwriter from a small seaside town. Because he writes his own songs, he plays around in pubs and stuff like that, but he isn't really doing that well. And his friend Ellie is his manager. She arranges all his gigs, but yeah, they're not in the best of places and they're not getting him far on the lines of success. So he kind of decides he should probably stop playing and, maybe go back to teaching, which was his original job. But there's a freak bus accident. There's like a whole blackout that covers like the whole world. No one really knows what it is or what caused it. But he ends up in hospital. He loses his 2 front teeth. And yeah, the world has changed in many ways. Mostly forgetting certain things. One of them is the Beatles. So if you don't know, the Beatles are a band from Liverpool. That includes John Lennon, George Harrison, Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr. The world just went crazy about the Beatles and the fact that in this film they don't exist. It's a strange concept to kind of think of. In my opinion anyway, I think the Beatles music is amazing, and you see the videos of all the girls screaming and everything. So it's like, if you can just imagine that not happening, it's a bit weird. I suppose that's the point of this film, to kind of show that, because there's references to it, because as well as Jack, there are 2 other people who remember the Beatles, and they're kind of just happy that he can actually sing, because they can't, and they can still bring the music of the Beatles to the world, which is what Jack plans to do. The whole point of the film is sort of him trying to get the songs out. He's trying to get them to be exactly the same when he's recording them. He just wants to share the Beatles with the world. But obviously he does it under his own name and he takes all the credit. At the start of the film, Jack does write that the songs aren't going to be successful because they're by him, they're not by the Beatles. He thinks he doesn't have the sort of touch that they did, and that they're just not going to go anywhere because they're by him. But someone does see him and they let him borrow their studio for free and record some of the songs to sort of create an album, which he ends up giving out for free at his job. So overnight he pretty much becomes a star, and Ed Sheeran ends up finding out about it and rings him, which he doesn't believe. He thinks it's a prank of his friend, but then he turns up at his house and his dad's like, "You look like Ed Sheeran," and he's like, "I am." And Ed just goes, the dad just goes, "Well done." I suppose you would say to Ed Sheeran, he has done pretty well for himself. You kind of would go, "Yeah, well done, you're great," sort of thing. So then Ed Sheeran decides that he wants Jack to be the supporting act for him. So he plays before Ed Sheeran does, and honestly, him performing the songs is actually really cool. And the crowd goes wild, he plays like Back in the USSR. And along in the film, he plays Yesterday, Let It Be, I Want to Hold Your Hand, and honestly, they are amazing. Like, it just kick-starts the love again for the Beatles. Like, it's just amazing. Like, the feeling and just seeing the songs kind of be performed in a strange way is really nice. Like, I've been to some concerts myself, and I'd say that it's quite a unique feeling when you just have everyone going insane over this, like, song or songs, and yeah, it's just amazing to see modern people kind of going crazy over the Beatles compared to when the Beatles were obviously out and the women were kind of just passing out because they were that excited to see them. So sure enough, because of his success, Ed Sheeran's manager in the film, played by Kate Micken, which you would recognise from Ghostbusters and The Spy Who Dumped Me, she's a very quirky actress. She doesn't really show her quirky side in this film, but she is a bit crazy. She kind of just has some weird lines, which are kind of pressurizing, but made in like a funny way, so it's kind of still a bit of her in it. So she's pushing him to make successful songs, make the title of the album work, and just pushing him to be the best and make the songs as best as possible. As I mentioned before, there are 2 other people who remember the Beatles. You kind of see them around in the film, they're kind of in the background, but when it comes to Jack releasing his album, he has a sort of media interview, and one of them is holding up a yellow submarine. It's a bit strange because he is just so intimidated by this toy of a yellow submarine, but obviously, you know, that links to the Yellow Submarine song and the album, and it shows someone else knows. But as I said, you soon find out that they remember the Beatles as well, and they're just so happy that he can play and share their songs with the world. From this, they then end up giving Jack an address. You're not sure who, in my opinion. I thought it was going to be like Paul McCartney or something like that, you know, because he just ends up driving. You think it's obviously going to be one of the Beatles, you know, but it kind of is touching because it turns out that it is John Lennon. He's given the address to go see John Lennon, which kind of got me. I kind of didn't expect that. Like obviously it's not the real John Lennon because he unfortunately died, but the actor does look a lot like him. He's played by Robert Carlyle. I can't say his name. Sorry, Carlyle, is it, or something like that? But yeah, he does have a very strong resemblance, and it's really weird to think he lives to the age of like 70 or 80. And Jack's just like, oh my god, it's so nice to meet you, and he's like, okay, you're strange, because obviously he doesn't understand what's going on. I mean, if you did meet John Lennon, like, you'd wanna, yeah, just to meet a legend like that would be pretty, yeah, standstill moment, I would say. It's just, yeah, it's a nice touch. There isn't really any words to describe it. It's unexpected, but a nice touch. I think the main part of including that is because John tells him that he should just go after the love of his life and he should always tell the truth. So that is some strong words from a legend. So he decides that he's going to tell the truth about his music and that they're not actually his songs. So this happens when Ed is doing a show at Wembley Stadium, sorry, and Jack asks for a favour if he can just go on stage, perform some songs and say a message. His manager is a bit sceptical about him saying a message, but completely happy for him to sing some songs because obviously he's a massive hit. Even Ed Sheeran feels like Jack is better than him and he is sort of the next person who's going to be a massive role model in the music industry. So at this point he's performing, and then he ends up saying a very touching message to his first manager, Ellie, who is his best friend. Throughout the film there's sort of a love story going on with these two. At the start I kind of didn't like that there was a love thing in it. I wanted to kind of just be based on the Beatles and stuff like that, but it kind of was nice at the end. He said a nice message to her, and the places he performs at kind of links to her. I know they kind of went there at some point. This is the place where he debuted his album, was at a pier that they were meant to have gone to or something like that, and a lot of it is kind of Jack, how he has to move away from his seaside town into LA, so he's moving away from Ellie and all his friends and everything like that, but she knows it's kind of the best thing for him to do, but does give him the chance and tells him everything. After playing his songs at Wembley, he decides to give, after giving this very heart-filled message to Ellie, he then says that he's going to release all the songs he has done online for free. He explains that they're not his songs to the world. People are booing, but they're also very happy that they've got free songs. Of course, his manager isn't really happy that they're going out for free. She just wants all the money. So Jack and Ellie do end up getting together, and Jack goes back to playing guitar at the school, and at the end it just has all the kids singing and everything like that, and it is a nice end to a nice film. So in this film, I have a list of the songs that are played in it. So you have Yesterday, Let It Be, I Wanna Hold Your Hand, Something, Hey Jude, I Saw Her Standing There, Carry That Weight, Here Comes the Sun, The Long and Winding Road, Help, She Loves You, A Hard Day's Night, In My Life, Back in the USSR, and All You Need Is Love, as well as Ooh La Be, Ooh La Da. Yeah, it's hard to read that. Ooh, yeah. But yeah, his covers are amazing. Like, yeah, I don't know, it's just, they're great anyway, obviously, but he just does a very good version of them. You know, he doesn't ruin any of the songs, which can happen with a lot of films. Like, he just ruin characters or plots or songs, and I'm just glad that that didn't happen in this film. It kind of brings the love back for all the Beatles songs and the Beatles themselves. So in this film you have Himish Patel. I'm sorry if I've said his name wrong, but you probably know him from EastEnders. He plays kind of a nerdy person. And yeah, it is a bit weird seeing him in sort of a more serious role. You kind of just see him in EastEnders. Sorry. You also have Lily James as Ellie. She's been in Cinderella, Darkest Hour, and she was also in Mamma Mia. Here we go again. So she's a very good singer, which in the film you do see she does some of the backing vocals, and she as well adds some like really nice touches to it. You also have Kate I can't say names. Kate Micken, is it? Which I said she's from Ghostbusters. Yeah, and you have Joel Fry's Rocky. He is from Plebs. Person that's where I know him from. He is a bit fatter, I think, in this film, but he's still quite funny. He just helps around sort of backstage, but he's a very comedic sort of helper. It's funny to have him in the film. This film is great for obviously for all the music, and it has a sort of nice way of leading up to it, but you just, because you know it's going to happen, it sort of lacks some interest, because you just know, like, as soon as they're like, what, you know that they've forgotten about it. It's not like a shock horror of, oh, they've forgotten, because you know it's going to happen, you know it's going to like, yeah, you just know it's going to happen. It kind of doesn't have that shocking factor. There's not really anything like that in it. I would just say the music obviously is 10 out of 10. I can't lie about that. But that's probably the strongest point. The acting is also very good, and the singing, like the versions are amazing. But yeah, I just have to say this is probably about an 8 out of 10. Obviously, when you go see the film, you sort of know what the plot's going to be. The Beatles are removed from existence. One thing I forgot to mention, it's not only the Beatles, you also have cigarettes, Coca-Cola, and the Harry Potter is also forgotten about. So sorry, Harry Potter fans. So this was vlog number 2. Well, film review number 2. I hope you liked it. I know this is a lot shorter one. I didn't really know what to say with the Spider-Man one, as I was kind of going a bit of depth with the characters. I could have spoken about the Beatles more, but it's just, yeah, it's not really a big part of the film, like, about them. As long as you know that they're a massive band, you kind of know it's a big deal that they've been forgotten about. My next video is most likely to be maybe about me. I'm thinking of doing a video where I'm going to look at some questions so you guys will get to know me a bit better. I may also do that video based on my cats, as weird as it sounds. I have 3 cats, Millie, Fudge and Izzy, and I would love to introduce you to them, or them to you even. But yeah, I would do a bit of a portfolio, not a profile on them, so just kind of how long I've had them, stuff like that, and show you some obviously very cute kitten pictures of them. So I hope you all look forward to that. Don't forget to like and subscribe and put on that notification thing if you want to, know when you're going to see those kitten videos. You can even follow me on Instagram. On there I post a few teasers of what I'm going to post, and I'll let you know when my next video is going to be posted.